identities, quote, undisguisable from their sex, something Americans are already protected against. Kate Anderson represented the Michigan funeral home that lost in today's ruling. Unfortunately, the Supreme Court.
This is the L2C Media Network. One moment, please, while I get our microphone adjusted. There we go. There we go. This is the L2C Media Network, and this is the L2C Sports Final, brought to you by Classic Burger King commercials that we'll have to say. And WLNS TV6. For over 70 years, we're here for you. Now, with a very wild Monday Madness day in sports, here's Steve. Hey, how's it going, everybody? Can we adjust? There we go. How you doing? Good evening, everybody, and welcome to the L2C Sports Final. I am your host and able-bodied Smurf, Steve the Baxman Baxley. And yes, as Harry said, well, it's a festival of weirdness tonight on the old Sports Final top story tonight. And, oh boy, baseball is in a mess. And the commissioner is blaming the players. The players are blaming the commissioner. What the hell happened? We'll tell you. Less than 1 week ago, during a nationally televised interview prior to the 2020 MLB draft, Commissioner Rob Manfred guaranteed baseball will be played this season. Quote, "We're going to play baseball in 2020, 100%. End quote. He said that was not revelatory. Manfred can unilaterally schedule the season after all. Our commissioner of baseball, Mr. Manfred, well, his tone changed dramatically on Monday. He said during an ESPN interview, quote, "I'm not confident we can play," end quote. "I think there's a real risk, and as long as there's no dialogue, that real risk is going to continue. It's just a disaster for our game. Absolutely no question about it. It shouldn't be happening. And it's important that we find a way to get past it and get the game back on the field for the benefit of our fans." Now, predictably, the Players Association Executive Director Tony Clark responded to the comments of Mr. Manfred with a very strongly worded statement to which we read, quote, "Players are disgusted that after Rob Manfred unequivocally told players and fans there would 100% be a 2020 season, he has decided to go back on his word and is now threatening to cancel the entire season. Any implication that the Players Association has somehow delayed progress on health and safety protocols is completely false. As Rob has recently acknowledged, the parties are very, very close. This latest threat is just one more indication that Major League Baseball has been negotiating in bad faith since the beginning. This has always been about extracting additional pay cuts from players, and this is just another day, another bad faith tactic in their ongoing campaign." Well, let's take a look. In the span of 5 days, Manfred went from guaranteeing baseball will be played 100% to not being confident it can happen. Talk about going 180 in a short period of time. What changed? Let's take a look at the three things specifically. Major League Baseball submitted its latest return-to-play proposal last week, but it was the same pig with a different shade of lipstick. The owners are willing to pay the players roughly 1/3 of their full season salary across some numbers of games. These have been MLB's offers. On May 26th, Games were 82 with a sliding salary scale, roughly 33% of full season salary. And on June 8th, they went down a bit, 76 games at 75% prorated pay, 35% of full season salary. Then June 12th, they went down again on games, 72 games at 80% prorated pay, just a percent above their June 8th deal of full season salary. The June 8th and June 12th proposals are conditional on the postseason being completed. If it's not, the players will receive an even smaller portion of their salary. The Major League Baseball Players Association, as you know, has proposed 114-game and 89-game seasons at full prorated pay. So they've chopped 25 games and 25 games worth of salary off their initial proposal. However, they are making an effort. While MLB's offers are relatively unchanged, they keep going back to the same place, and that's roughly 1/3 of full season salary. As a result, the Players Association halted negotiations on Sunday, with Tony Clark saying, quote, "It appears further dialogue with the league would be futile." Clark invited Manfred to unilaterally schedule the season as the March agreement allows, and informed players when to report. Quote, "Tell us when and where," end quote, Clark said. That was the Major League Baseball Players Association public statement. Privately, union negotiator, I'm really enjoying this, Bruce Myers sent Major League Baseball a letter demanding the league inform the players of their plan no later than today. It's unfair to leave players and the fans hanging at this point. We demand that you inform us of your plans by close of business on Monday, June 15th, I wrote. Now, Clark's statement and Myers' letter put the ball back in baseball's court. The players are done negotiating, so it's up to MLB and Manfred to schedule the season. And when that happens, they will have to explain why they're playing so few games, if they schedule 48 to 54 games as expected, or why they didn't simply schedule the season sooner if they schedule more than that. Now, when Manfred guaranteed the season will be played again 100%, the Players Association was still at the table and willing to make concessions as evidenced by its proposals. That's no longer the case, with the union no longer willing to negotiate. Manfred now is not so confident the season can be played, or in this case, saved. Now, once Manfred schedules the season, the Players Association expected to file a grievance arguing that MLB did not make the best efforts to play as many games as possible as required by the March Accord or agreement. Case in point, MLB proposed as many as 82 games at one point, and the league may only schedule 48 to 54 games. That would seem to bode well for the union. But presumably, Major League Baseball's defense will involve a clause in the March agreement stating the schedule will be created while taking into account player safety and health rescheduling needs, competitive considerations, stadium availability, and the economic feasibility of various alternatives. Such grievance would not impact play and could take years to resolve, but it could result in baseball paying the Players Association way back pay. Now, for baseball, the downside to a grievance is be forced to pay billions in back pay, obviously, and the discovery process may also require owners to turn over financial documents. Maybe now opening their books entirely, or maybe not open their books entirely, but open them more than they are now, which would throw a huge wrench into the owners. They're not making much money, like Cardinal owner Bill DeWitt Jr. and Cubs owner Tom Ricketts. A potential grievance is apparently such concern that Major League Baseball sent the Players Association a letter on Monday informing the union it will not schedule any games unless the union waives its right to legal action. From the Associated Press, Major League Baseball informed the union it would announce a schedule and a date for a resumption of spring training. The union agrees to waive claims that baseball violated the March 26 agreement between the sides, or if the union agreed to an expedited grievance process. MLB said absence It said, absent a solution, the dispute will remain an impediment to starting play. Clearly, baseball is concerned about a grievance. A potential grievance, I would argue, you didn't play as many games as possible by threatening to play no games doesn't seem like a good idea. Maybe it'll work for MLB, but who knows? Now, the Players Association would not have been able to file a grievance had the two sides agreed to a return to play plan. Now that the union is done negotiating and it's on Manfred to schedule the season, the union can file a grievance, and the case seems decidedly strong. A grievance was not on the table 5 days ago when Manfred guaranteed a season. No. Unfortunately, while Tony Clark over the weekend was declaring his desire to get back to work, the union's top lawyer was out telling reporters, players, and eventually getting back to owners that as soon as we issue a schedule they intended to file a grievance claiming they were entitled to an additional $1 billion. Manfred told ESPN, obviously that sort of bad faith tactic makes it extremely difficult to move forward in these circumstances. The big one, COVID-19 cases are on the rise in some states. And we're still in the middle of this deadly global pandemic, one that has infected over 8 million people worldwide and killed over 118,000 Americans as of our report. COVID-19 has not gone away. In fact, cases are spiking in many states, particularly in the South and Southwest, which are home to many Major League Baseball teams. In addition, several MLB players and staff tested positive for COVID-19 recently, per the Associated Press. So, ignore the money and the ongoing labor dispute for a second. Is it safe to play Major League Baseball right now? No. There are no major health problems. There are no major health officials or government bodies saying Major League Baseball cannot play, but is it safe? Beyond the players and the coaches, there are all the stadium workers and transportation folks. Remember, there are tens of thousands in that cog that is the Major League Baseball machine. We learn more about COVID-19 with each passing day, including which states have the most cases and which states are the best options to host professional baseball games. Increases in cases in the South and Southwest affect 1/3 of the league, and there you have a problem. The pandemic remains a very real threat to the 2020 baseball season. Now, canceling the season because it's not safe to play would be sad, but most fans, and I'm just going to reframe that, I'm going to say all fans would understand. Canceling the season because the owners can't convince the players to cover their losses, though, that'd be unforgivable. Now, there's a chance baseball and the Players Association are at war and destroying the league's image over a season that might not even be played due to the pandemic. They shut down in March because of this pandemic, though the shutdown has since morphed into a full-blown labor war. Again, there are no government agencies or health officials preventing baseball. It might not be a good idea to play, but spring training could be going on right now. Instead, baseball is threatening to cancel the season, even though the commissioner guaranteed baseball will be played just 5 days ago. Stay tuned. It's 16 minutes. We've been on the air for 6 minutes. Wow. That's something, isn't it? Actually, we've been on the air now for 14 minutes. So it says. Well, let's keep going with the big old news. And let's get going here.
The president is expected to sign an executive order that would...
Philadelphia Eagles starting right guard Brandon Brooks has suffered a torn left Achilles and will miss the entire 2020 season, as first reported by Derek Gunn of NBC Sports Philly. The 30-year-old suffered the injury while working out at the NovaCare complex, the Eagles training facility, on Monday, and, as Gunn reports, knew the severity of the injury right away and was devastated. Now, Brooks has been a key figure along Philly's offensive line since joining the club in 2016 after spending the first 4 years of his career in Houston as a member of the Texans. Over the last 3 seasons, he has started in all 48 regular season games, played in 95% of the offensive snaps, and was selected to the Pro Bowl each season. Unfortunately for Brooks, this isn't the first time he's gone down this road, and he also tore his right Achilles during the 2018 playoffs. In the divisional round against New Orleans Saints, Brooks was able to return in 2019, however, and play in all 16 regular season games. Now, once word got out of Brooks' latest injury, the Pro Bowl guard, I cannot speak good, who just inked a 4-year, $54.2 million contract extension back in November that keeps him in Philly through 2024, took to Twitter to confirm the news. It says, quote, "So I guess now that news is out, yes, I tore my other Achilles, but when life gives you lemons, you make lemonade. I'll be back and better than ever. Appreciate the love." Now, on top of those 2 Achilles tears, Brooks also needed surgery this offseason after dislocating his shoulder in the regular season finale, which kept him out of Philly's playoff loss to the Seahawks. That injury was the reason Brooks wasn't allowed to rehab and work out the NovaCare complex. The Eagles didn't fare too well without Brooks in that playoff game. As for what's next for Philly, well, they can always turn to old friend Jason Peters, who remains signed and has turned down a couple of offers from other teams per gun. Both sides have kept the door open for a possible return, and this injury to Brooks could be what further intensifies that possibility. Now, one other option would be fellow Pro Bowler guard Larry Warford, who was released by the Saints earlier this offseason and is still a free agent. Stand by for that. All right, stand by for that mess of a mess. And if Colin Kaepernick actually returns to the NFL after a 3-year hiatus, here are the teams that could make sense for him. And here we go. Bibbidi bobbidi boo. How about the Baltimore Ravens? There aren't any teams with as many overt connections to Kaepernick as the Ravens. First and foremost, Greg Roman, the offensive coordinator who helped unleash Cap with the 49ers back in 2012, and is now working wonders with Lamar Jackson and the Ravens' run-first attack. Roman said in 2019 that Kaepernick's body of work speaks for itself, and it's easy to see how he could integrate a dual threat like Cap, either as a decoy, Jackson insurance, or situational option quarterback. That essentially already is what the Ravens trained Robert Griffin III and Trace McSorley to do anyway. Kaepernick just happens to be bigger and better. How about the Houston Texans? Like the Ravens, Texans already have their young dual-threat franchise QB, but that's practically what makes them a logical fit. A.J. McCarron is a traditional Bill O'Brien pocket passer at the number 2 spot, but Houston's still got plenty of cap space to toy with, and if anyone's proven to be open to off-the-wall roster moves, it's O'Brien. More than that, just about every prominent leader on this team, from O'Brien to Deshaun Watson to J.J. Watts, has been explicit in their advocacy for social justice, with O'Brien himself set to follow in Cap's footsteps and kneel during the national anthem this season. O'Brien's repeatedly already gotten pitches from Justin Reed about signing their Eric, another of the original player protesters. Why couldn't Kaepernick be next, especially considering the upside as a situational runner and or Watson backup? Jacksonville Jaguars, much like the Detroit Lions, well, it's a long shot. Just because of how much the Jags seem intent on cutting away or avoiding distraction, making 2020 about Gardner Minshew's quarterback audition, but team owner Shad Khan is fresh off a strongly worded call to arms in the fight against injustice. kind of action, not words, declaration that could be used to welcome Cap, his civil rights activism, and so forth. Plus, there wouldn't be much downside from a non-field and entertainment perspective to letting Cap challenge Minshew, or at least wait in the wings for a starting opportunity. About the Super Bowl defending champions, the Kansas City Chiefs. Well, Andy Reid, the coach of the Chiefs, would be a good person to shepherd Kaepernick on his transition back to the NFL. Reid has never shied away from polarizing QB moves and happens to have a Super Bowl winning supporting cast. Well, with a Lombardi trophy under his belt and the NFL's best young quarterback in tow in Patrick Mahomes, Reid can afford to dabble at the backup spot where Cap would offer more playmaking upside than Chad Henne. And speaking of Mahomes, number 15 has been very outspoken about the NFL being more proactive to advance social justice causes. So it's unlikely he put up any opposition to such a move. I imagine Kaepernick can reach Chiefs offense, even as a gadget player. And you're looking at something that is a true bullseye. Or how about the Los Angeles Chargers? The Chargers are truly seem set on letting Tyrod Taylor be the placeholder at quarterback until first-round pick Justin Herbert is ready to go. But they also explored Tom Brady. So it's not if they're blindly unaware of their potential as 2020 contenders. Adding Kaepernick now wouldn't preclude them from rolling with Taylor and or Herbert. But rather, insert an alternative for 2020 and give Herbert more time to sit and learn after a shortened off season. Coach Anthony Lynn would also most certainly be on board with it from an off-field perspective. Having passionately praised Kaepernick's work this offseason. What about the Vikings? Like the Jags, they're probably unlikely suitors just because of how Mike Zimmer tends to keep a tight ship. But ownership.
Every Michigan State athlete who returned to campus today in hopes to begin a voluntary summer workout received this nifty black mask with a green spark.
Now, as I said, like the Jags, are probably unlikely suitors just because of how Mike Zimmer tends to keep a tight ship. But ownership and the front office are also pretty serious about recommitting to the social justice fight, pledging $5 million to various causes and giving a voice to player leaders like Eric Kendricks, who supported protests. From a football standpoint, they're an incredibly logical fit as a run-based, play-action-heavy offense without a rock-solid backup for Kirk Cousins. Throwing the connection to a recent Minneapolis tragedy, and there's a reason, former NFL spokesman Joe Lockhart suggested the Vikings make this happen. How about this? If the Eagles were concerned about the optics of adding a high-profile backup for Carson Wentz after Nick Foles' tenure, they wouldn't have drafted Jalen Hurts in the second round. And while Hurts' early pick would seem to take them out of the mix, they increasingly justified that selection by calling themselves a, quote, quarterback factory and emphasizing the importance of the number 2 spot. Team owner Jeffrey Lurie is a known progressive on the social justice front. His Eagles have been a bastion for that kind of work since Malcolm Jenkins helped further the foundation, and they've taken polarizing swings before. Remember Michael Vick? Adding Cap even as a 1-year rental would give Doug Peterson a new toy. Hurts more time to grow and Wentz a more experienced reserve. Now the Tennessee Titans team leadership, including ownership and quarterback Ryan Tannehill, have been talking up renewed action in the social justice movement. And more than that, Mike Vrabel might prefer having someone other than Logan Woodside as his backup plan under center. The Titans saw the value of a veteran number 2 in 2019, and Kaepernick seems like the ideal play-action backup for their offense, which is going to run through Derrick Henry anyway. Cap space certainly wouldn't be the holdup either. So there you go, 8 teams with a solid shot at Kaepernick. Which one will take it? Depends on who you talk to. And folks, we pause because we have to do a brief little commercial for you. Let's tell you what's coming up tonight on the Ricado Law Channel. And tonight, you love them, you like them, you can't live without them. It's another edition of Conversations. That's right. Tonight, Conversations by Proxy, the interview, part 1 of a 3 or 4 part little event that will be a part of the action tonight on Nick Ricada's show, Lost Blaming the Interwebs. Find out what the blithering fool has to say and why what he has to say might put him in a little bit of trouble with the appeals case that is yet to be discovered or even announced yet. So stay tuned. Go to Ricada Law Channel. Lost Blaming the Interwebs with Nick Ricada. Conversation by Proxy. The interview, part 1 on the Ricada Law Channel. Midnight Eastern Time. Coming up in about 30 minutes from now, right here on YouTube. We hope you'll tune in. Okay. We're live and we're glad to be here, folk. Okay, we got a lot to do and a lot to cover in this big old fun fest of a fiesta. And a reminder, Chris Statlander is the guest on AEW Unrestricted's podcast. Listen to it tonight or any night. It's a good interview. And she also admitted to having, once again, torn her ACL. So stay tuned, be cool, and as always, enjoy Nick Ricada's show. Anyway, let's get you back to the action of this very program, which is full of vitamin C. So if you're ready, we're going to be ready with you as well. So So if you're ready, we're ready too. Let's get you back on. Let's get you back on the solid footing here, and let's keep going with more of the headlines. We're ready to go, folk. Wow. What a morning for Oklahoma State. And it was the Mike Gundy OAN shirt controversy has been settled for now, at least. As you may or may not have read, Gundy, along with star Oklahoma State running back Chuba Hubbard, appeared in a video Monday evening smoothing over what very well could have been a stunning boycott within the program. Following numerous tweets of support from his teammates, along with some concerning statements from Oklahoma State's administrators, Gundy and Hubbard appeared together in the video on Hubbard's account. Gundy said that following the team meeting, he was looking forward to making some changes, and it starts at the top, while Hubbard apologized for taking his issue to Twitter. Quote, in live today's tweet with the t-shirt I was wearing, I met with some players and realized it's a very sensitive issue with what was going on in today's society. Gundy said, we had a great meeting and just made aware of some of Tony's quotes. And wow. Our culture, we had a great meeting made aware of some things players feel like they can make our organization, our culture even better than it is here at Oklahoma State. I'm looking forward to making some changes and start to top with me. We have good days ahead. Said Hubbard, I went about it the wrong way by tweeting. I'm not someone that's tweet about something to bring to bring change. I should have went to him as a man. I'm more about action. That was bad on my part, but from now on, we're going to focus on bringing change, and that's the most important thing. Now, this up on Monday began after Hubbard, the nation's leading rusher in 2019, came across a tweet showing Gundy on a fishing trip wearing a shirt representative of the One America News Network. OAN is considered a fringe right-wing cable channel seen as a heavy pro-Donald Trump network, for which Gundy previously expressed his affinity. Hubbard tweeted, I will not stand for this. This is completely insensitive to everything going on in society, and it's unacceptable. I will not be doing anything with Oklahoma State until things change. Additionally, on Monday evening, in the wake of the controversy, linebacker Amen Bamiga, who previously voiced his support for Hubbard, said, we are happy to have come to a conclusion and opened a gateway to create some serious change around Oklahoma State. My teammates and I have all agreed we will go ahead and resume all workouts and activities. We're all in this together. Well, I'm glad of that. I'm glad of it. Yes, I am. Hurrah. There's the And as we told you, the MLB Players Association responded. And I think we did that story. Okay, so the telecasting side of things never changes. It's still fun. Okay. In the going into our NFL report, Lamar Jackson tackled over a jet ski during. Wow. What can I say about wow? And holy Methuselah. There we go. We are waiting for the story to pop up on our monitor here so we can read it to you with excellent speeding. Lamar Jackson is getting ready to defend his MVP award and lead the Baltimore Ravens to a Super Bowl in 2020. Many Raven fans gasped at the viral video that leaked of the MVP playing in a harmless beach football game over the weekend. Jackson was taped dodging defenders like he does every NFL Sunday, but he took a tumble that wasn't expected. The Ravens quarterback appeared to be avoiding a defender who had his foot out in an attempt to tackle Jackson. As Jackson was avoiding him, he did trip. It's amazing. Whether Jackson was injured after the fall is unclear, as the video ends after landing. Now, the Ravens cannot afford for anything to happen to their franchise QB heading into 2020, as their championship aspirations hinge on Jackson. If Jackson plays anywhere near like he did in 2019, the Ravens will be one of the top teams in football once again. Now, Jackson became the first quarterback to throw for over 3,000 yards and rush for over 1,000 yards in a single season. He also has the most rushing yards by a quarterback in a season in NFL history, 1,206, leading the league with a 6.9 yards per carry and finishing with 7 touchdowns. Jackson completed the 66.1% of his passes for 3,127 yards, 36 touchdowns, and 6 interceptions for a 113.3 passer rating. He led the NFL in touchdown passes and touchdown percentage, 9.0, and his 43 total touchdowns led the league. Jackson was the AFC's offensive player of the week 5 times and was the AFC's offensive player of the month in November of last year. In the final 8 games he played in the regular season, Jackson completed 69.4% of his passes for 1,477 yards, 25 touchdowns, and just 1 interception. He also had 630 rushing yardage and 4 rushing touchdowns. Now, major injury to Jackson and the Ravens' championship aspirations for 2020 are nearly extinct. Baltimore may put Jackson on ice until the training camp begins, and we wish them lots of luck. And we say to our good friend, Matt Ednetti, how you doing? And we got more hellos to do very shortly right now. Let's do what we do on a good basis. That's very simple. We go to scoreboard. Let's do it. Let's go to the scoreboard, folks. You'll love it. We love it too. It's the scoreboard. That's right. The fun is contagious. Let's get to it. We got a lot of action to do, get to you. And we do so right now. In Spain, La Liga. Levante Sevilla tied at 1. Betis and Granada tied at 2. In Armenia Premier League Championship game, Noah and Ariat Armenia tied at 1. Denmark Superliga Regulation Group, Silkeborg Maliwap Doden 6-0. In Germany's Bundesliga number 2, it was Arminia Bielefeld over SG Dynamo Dresden 4-0. In South Korea K-League 2, it's Gyeongnam over Anshan Greeners 2-1. And in the club friendly department, Lillestrøm over Jerv 3-0. Egersunds over Sandnes 4-1. Mastebrosco over Benzenov 3-0. In basketball in the German BBL final stage, it was Bamberg over Vecta 182. And Alba Berlin over Ludwigsburg 97-89. More still to come here. It's 11:42. If you want more scores, including e-scores, go to scoreboard.com for all of the good stuff. And believe me, it is pretty damn good. Okay, folks, we're right in the middle of a show, and we are almost out of time. Right now, we're going to extend about 4 minutes, so we will get done as we near the 45 minutes that we're on in about 5 minutes. So we'll probably end at 47 minutes past the hour. Let's take you now to some news from our colleagues at Awful Announcing. Hey, Farmer John. Okay, give us a little breath. And we knew he would find peace, and he did. Jason Whitlock is a man of his word. Immediately after Jason Whitlock's departure from FS1 was announced, the question became, where would the outspoken pundit land next? Going back to ESPN, which he left for Fox Sports in 2015, that wasn't to be an option. 2 weeks later, Whitlock has his new gig lined up. On Monday morning, Clay Travis's Outkick, the coverage website, announced that Whitlock is joining the outlet in what the official release termed as a partnership agreement. Whitlock will write for the site. His first piece went live Monday and soon launch a podcast. All of Whitlock's work at Outkick will be branded Fearless. The New York Post Andrew Marchand reported that Whitlock was looking into launching his own direct-to-consumer business, similar to what Bill Simons created with The Ringer and Joe Rogan has with his Joe Rogan Experience podcast. Both ventures recently signed big old contracts with Spotify. Wow. Now, presumably, that means Whitlock will maintain creative control over his content for Outkick, something that likely wouldn't have happened at a traditional media outlet. Would he have such an autonomy at the Black Grantland vertical he was developing with ESPN that eventually became the Undefeated? Maybe not. This allows him to address topics that the networks and publications may prefer he avoid in his commentary. Whitlock said as much in Outkick's official announcement. Quote, racial polarization, the promotion of anecdote-driven worldviews, and the silencing of ideas and thoughts that contradict mainstream media narratives are tearing America apart. I hope the work we do at Outkick will play a small role in bringing us back together. That's a big goal. I can't wait. Now, partnering with Outkick saves Whitlock the trouble of creating and developing his own online operation, an endeavor that appears increasingly difficult in today's media climate, with many outlets forced to cut payroll, reduce coverage, or shutter operations entirely in the harsh economy created by the COVID-19 shutdown. Most importantly, however, Outkick will allow Whitlock to be himself and express his views as free as ever, as he explained in his first column. Quote, it's hard to be me at a modern mainstream media company. The things that define me are under attack. Social media has prioritized race, gender, sexuality, and political ideology well ahead of God and country. The mainstream media's addiction to social media traction does not comfortably accommodate someone with my beliefs speaking my truth. Whitlock did have the opportunity to stay at FS1, as he told Front Office Sports' Michael McCarthy. He was offered a 2-year extension at the same pay. Whether or not Whitlock is getting a raise at Outkick probably won't be revealed, but having a platform with no restrictions may have been more appealing. Now, while a regular TV gig like co-hosting FS1 Speak for Yourself may not be a part of the Outkick package, this may free him up to appear on other cable news and sports programs as Travis does. And if Whitlock's podcast is a success, as there no doubt will be, that has become a very lucrative business for many commentators and personalities. Outkick coverage has made notable additions to its staff in recent months, including hiring Ryan Glasspiegel, Bobby Burak, and Michael Schamberger, also of Golf Week, away from the big lead. Whitlock is the site's highest profile hire yet. And we say to him, good luck, my brother. We salute thee. And welcome our new podcast neighbor. In the NFL, well, They are doing something rather interesting. And here's why. Now, and here's what it is. It doesn't appear that we're going to be learning the NHL's next television home until sometime in 2021. According to a Sports Business Journal report, the NHL is halting all negotiations regarding its next rights deal until the end of 2020. More specifically, they're waiting for the NFL to get their rights deals done. To date, the NFL has only re-upped with Amazon for another 3 years, while ESPN, whose deal is expiring after the 2021 season, CBS, Fox, and NBC, all of which expire after the 2022 season, they haven't been renewed yet. All understandably want to remain in business with the NFL going forward. As for the National Hockey League's relationship with NBC, which will celebrate 15 years in October, and the 10-year, $2 billion contract between the two parties will end after the 2021 season, NBC wants to remain in bed with the NHL and reportedly has a right of first refusal clause with the league. But ESPN and Fox have also reportedly been interested in picking up NHL rights for several years. 3 years ago, ESPN's John Bucegras raised the possibility of the network getting back into broadcasting NHL games with the league, potentially splitting its package. Sports Business Journal reaffirmed that idea today, claiming that the league wants to cut deals with at least 2 television networks and potentially a tech company. This will allow the NHL to more closely resemble other American sports leagues as the NFL, Major League Baseball, NBA, and MLS, along with various college conferences, all have deals with at least 2 TV networks. Now, the NHL's decision to push back its negotiations has a few benefits. If one of the potential partners doesn't spend as much on the NFL as they expect, they could have extra money to throw at the NHL. Networks also could have less cash flow problems later this year or early in 2021 if the COVID-19 pandemic begins to slow. Right now, it seems like an early favorite to make a strong play for the NHL along with NBC is ESPN. With apologies to hockey fans that have added Max Kellerman to their you-know-what list, ESPN has several things going for it in regards to a potential deal with the NHL. Major League Baseball's renewal with Turner Sports over the weekend, combined with its renewal with Fox nearly 2 years ago, has seemingly limited and expanded vastly more expensive MLB package for ESPN that would free up some cash for other properties like the NHL. ESPN also has the most gain with the new NFL rights deal, as it is seeking more games, just its its Monday Night Football package, and one wild card game. Now, if it fails to negotiate a better package, the amount of money ESPN will be paying to the NFL could be less exorbitant, opening the door again for that money to be spent elsewhere. Now, as for Fox, the other rumored contender, they have not only agreed to the new TV deal with Major League Baseball, but are also locked into Thursday Night Football through 2022, which they probably look to renew because football, And they do have a right to agree to a new NFL deal for Sundays and the playoffs, which will not be cheap. If you want a dark horse candidate, how about CBS? The network has some extra cash in its pocket after losing the SEC's premier package to ESPN. And they bolstered their sports content with last fall's surprising pickup of the rights for the UEFA Champions League beginning in the fall of 2021. The NHL likely wouldn't be too thrilled with games on CBS Sports Network or CBS All Access, but weekend games in winter on CBS Broadcast Network, that'd be a good outcome. Now, whatever happens, we're probably not going to learn about it until next year because the deal is likely going to be with multiple partners. The NHL is likely going to be bringing in far more than the $200 million a year that NBC has been paying on an average of the last decade. When it comes to the future of hockey in the U.S., that can only mean good things going forward, even if the NHL ends up on a network where talking heads bash their sport. Good luck. You'll need it. Hey, at least in Canada, the NHL had a nice deal with Rogers. I think it's been 3 years. What's happened to that? The NCAA. Glad you asked that question because we're going to tell you. We're going to give you the end shot. On Monday, USA Today reported that a new antitrust lawsuit filed in federal court on behalf of NC2A players is going to go after one of the NCAA's secret cows, television revenue. The lawsuit will focus on the NCAA's restrictions for athletes to use their name, image, and likeness, or NIL for simplicity's sake, to earn money, and is looking for a share of the billions of dollars of TV rights paid by networks to the NCAA and its conferences. Says the paper. Suit, which seeks to be a class action, not only asks that the NCAA be prevented from having association-wide rules that restrict the amount of name, image, and likeness compensation available to athletes, but also seeks unspecified damages based on the share of television rights money and the social media earnings it claims athletes would have received at the NCAA's current limits on NIL compensation had not existed. Specifically, the suit claims that the specifically the suit claims that football, men's basketball, and women's basketball players at schools in the Power Five. It's wild. 3 states, California, Colorado, and Florida, have passed laws that will allow athletes to use their NIL to make money. As for why the lawsuits are going after TV money, that would be because the athletes contribute to the televised product that the networks are paying for, and they don't receive a cut. And I have no idea if this lawsuit is going to gain any attention, if it will be settled or go to trial, or if it will be dismissed sooner rather than later, and we'll all forget about it and sing Kumbaya. But the battle over the rights is not ending anytime soon, no matter how much the NCAA tries to put out the inferno with a thimbleful of water. Yesterday's Charles Schwab Challenge had its most watched final round in 16 years, averaging 3.1 million viewers on CBS. Bravo. Good stuff. Let's see. Do we have anything else? No? Okay. We'll give you more sports news and everything else tomorrow on the fun-filled fiesta we personally like to call Last Call Cafe. Right now it's time, before we say goodbye, to say hello to our friends on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, and we do so with the finest of all respects. So, let's get to it. And we say hello to Marielle Liu, Yuki Tanaka, Heidi Frost. Hi. How are you? Everything going cool? Good. Okay, we continue. I know I'm chewing stuff, and I know I shouldn't, but it's been a very wild night. So, here we go. We say hello to Brenda Gaminsky, Sharon Baxley, Aunt Pat, Myra Baxley Duan, Dwight Duan, Sarah Beth, Angela Peterson, Christina Peterson, Yuki Tanaka, Anne-Marie Mann, Jay the Brain Man, Matthew Nichols, Jerry Nichols, Nancy Nichols, Amy Hayes, Stacy Hayes, Morris Hayes, and the lovely Miss Frida Hayes. I don't think you did. I think they're either here on your nightstand or they're in your bedroom. or in the bathroom, one or the other. Anyway, like I said, you get a lot here, and sometime either this week or next, the hair will be sheared. It will go back to normal, or as normal as it'll ever get. But we'll get the bow out of here for the night. Want to remind you, I'm glad everything went great for you folks here. We forgot but my mom, and we got literally locked out of the house, so my mom suggested I kick the door in. But a friend of ours suggested we call some people, and one of them is Discount Locksmith Services of Mid-Michigan, owned by Richard May. They are commercial, residential, auto lockouts, lost key replacement, locks changed, repaired, and sold and installed. Their hours of op is Monday through Friday. They have a website. It's discountlocksmith.net, or give them a call at 517-242-0556. And if anyone would, that's all we ask for, folks. We want to make some of that nice little cheddar cheese as well, in the program. Make it well worth the time so we can make some improvements on the set we got here, which is an actual living room, but I want to put some egg crates around here so it can deafen the sound, so there won't be any background sound. Ski, Jeff Rollo, Marley Wiley, George Templeton, Blind Lemon, Instapod, Nellie K9, and Mrs. Nellie K9. We then say hello to January J. Keaton, Mario Lou, Eddie Farhat. Hope you're doing well, sir. We miss all the wrestlers of the All World Wrestling League. We say hello to Ricky Pickrell, Michael Pickrell, Tony Pickrell, Yvonne Pickrell, Yuki Tanaka. I've already mentioned those fine folks over there. We also say hi to Peter Oeda, Louisa Fernanda. We have some more to show, to say hello. And we are, of course, understandably, come on. No, I don't need, there we go. Thank you. Samantha Phillips, Samantha O'Neill, Casey Ann, Monica Cram, Gary Cram. We also say a big hello to a whole lot of people as Facebook and our monitor here continue to have a nice little love affair. Aw, ain't that tweet. Okay, since we are running big short on time, Roman Ronin, howdy do? How are you? And want to say hi there to Beth McLeod and all the gang there at WJW Fox 8. Also want to say hello to Audrey Dogren, Nick Mantis, Alex Sims, Emily Walls, David Young, and of course the cool one, Mr. Jim Gaia. We say hello, and they say hello back. What else have we got for you, folks? I think we can say hey to Brian Mann, Chris Lewis, Chris French, George Temple. Oh, I already mentioned Templeton. I mentioned my Australian friends and my American friends from the old basement.com.au and AFL site of joy. Jim Mills, Jennifer Finney, J.R. Draper, Johnny Spitfire, Kadeem Zaire Mutha. Kadeem Zaire Muhammad. How you doing? Charlie Brown, Kimberly Butler, Mike Sparks, Rebecca Nicole Pelkis, Rick Yampa, Silva Harpetian, Wesley Snell, Zach Burton. We also say hello to Brad Berkowitz. Que pasa? And what more can we say but Claudia Treos, of course, not just Claudia Treos. We also say hello to everyone at WLNS TV6 and my friends in Houston on Fox 26 KRIV Television. I'll say hello to my Aunt Pep, my Uncle Mike, my cousin Brenda. That's right. And well, who else? I think that's it. I think that's it. We have did the ever-loving cha-cha dance that we love doing each and every Monday through Sunday. We are 2 minutes over. Wow. We had a lot to talk about, and I'm glad we talked about it here. Thank you all for watching. I'm Steve the Baxman Baxley. We are back tomorrow night, same time, same place, same show, same dining room. We hope you'll watch us because we're fun. At least we try to be. Thank you, everybody, for watching. This has been a presentation of Mystifying Creativity Productions in association with the L2C Media Network and L2C Sports and YouTube. We have to mention them. Until tomorrow night, same time, same place, same little bit of space. I am the Baxman, saying to one and all, I'll have my commentary tomorrow as well. Thank you for watching, no matter what team you cheer. May they always be winners. Good night, America, wherever and whomever you may be. So long, everybody. Don't forget, Bobby Strauss and Sports Central USA coming around the corner, and up your address. We'll see you tomorrow night, everybody.